Well, now, interesting enough, I had a request and I thought it was a decent video idea. I really did. And, when I just get one request, I don't think too much of it. But after it happens a few times, it's like, okay, maybe it's a good idea. Maybe I should do that video. So in this video, I'm actually bringing you 10 fragrances from 10 of my favorite fragrance brands. But we're only discussing my favorite from each house. So stay tuned. So the way it works with these brands, it's ones that I have multiple fragrances from, and one that I have multiple fragrances that I really enjoy from this brand, which makes it a little bit more difficult to narrow down and to pick a favorite, starting with the House of Prada. So I do like the Luna Rossa line as a whole. I do enjoy all of them. The only one I don't have is the Extreme. And then I love the L'Homme line, which I don't have all of them, but I have the three, what I believe is the three main players in that line. It's just, I have Prada, Amber, Pour Homme, but if I had to just pick one, it's probably going to end up being Prada Luna Rossa Carbon. Reason being, if I got to just pick one, because you'll see why I'm not going with Dior Sauvage in a minute, because you would think, well, when I go with Dior, I'm going to probably go Sauvage. No, that's not the case. There's a bunch of different things I love from Dior, but in regards to Prada Luna Rossa Carbon, it gives me that Sauvage vibe. It gives me that Sauvage scent profile, just a little bit more refined, a little bit smoother. The lavender's done a little bit better in this one. So if I had to just pick one Sauvage type fragrance, it would end up being this regardless. But lo and behold, if I had to just pick one from the house, it's this one. The versatility for my taste and what I like to wear on a regular basis, not just from time to time, this is going to be the one every time. So it's definitely my favorite of what I own from Prada. I don't own every Prada fragrance, obviously, but I do own quite a few. And based on what I have in my collection from the House of Prada, my favorite is definitely Prada Luna Rossa Carbon. Next, we're talking about Dior. So obviously it's not Sauvage based on what I just said when I was talking about Luna Rossa Carbon. So this one's a little bit more difficult. Actually, it gets more and more difficult as we go, to be honest with you. It's not ranked, but it kind of is. So with Dior, I love the Homme line. I love the Sauvage line. I like the Eau Sauvage line. There's other lines I don't even have. Some of their private lines and stuff like that. But when it comes down to it, some of you may have guessed, I'm going to have to go Dior Homme Parfum every single time. Because, I love this fragrance so much. It's so good. Even though I like to claim that the original is much more well balanced, which it is, this is just so good. Man, this is such a good fragrance. Chocolatey leather, slightly animalic, beautiful waxy iris, obviously. It's, for being an iris fragrance, it's got a masculine, rough and rugged type of edge to it because of the touch of oud and the way the leather is just slightly animalic. It's not a rough and rugged leather, but it's not a soft, supple leather either. It's a beast. Easy with the sprays if you don't want to be super pronounced with this one, because it's definitely a strong performer. Definitely not one I would want to wear when it's warm or hot or anything like that. It's got to be cool to cold, preferably colder than it is cool, for me to wear this one, because this one pierces through the cold no problem. It does have a formal appeal without being too serious. I would say Dior Homme Intense and the regular Dior Homme is actually a little bit more formal than this one. Even this one has a little bit more of a bad boy appeal than a formal appeal, to be honest with you. But just an absolute delight to wear. If you're lucky enough to have a bottle, yay for you, because it's great. Overseas, it's a bit easier to get the 100 milliliter bottles. Over here in the States, not the easiest thing to get if you don't want to pay an absurd over retail price from not discounters, from resellers. But definitely my favorite from Dior. If I'm picking one, I'm picking Dior Homme Parfum every time. At the recording of this video, this is actually my scent of the day, and this pick may surprise you from the House of Mancera. So I do have 10 Mancera fragrances. Obviously there's way more than 10 fragrances that can be had from Mancera, and for as much as I like a lot of their offerings, Instant Crush, Red Tobacco, obviously, the Oud, man, that's my favorite oud fragrance because it's so pungent and different from everything else in my collection. But I got to go the versatility route. I got to go with the one I wear the most. I've been through a 10 ml decant of. I'm starting to go into my bottle more. I'm talking about Mancera Cedrat Boissé. So I don't know why it's not focusing. Try to get it in a position to where it can focus. My apologies for it not focusing. There's just so much going on in the background. But anyways, so what made me wear this one was Andrea, Curly Scents. Shout out to you, sis. She had just did a Sexiest Men's Fragrance, her #1 pick video. And she gave me credit for introducing her to this one. Her and Anthony had been wanting to try it for a while. I had wore it on our Chicago trip, which was towards the end of my decant. And that's a heavily macerated, much older batch than what's in this bottle. And they were blown away by it. They loved it. They ended up getting a bottle. If those of you that have saw that video, you can tell how much they really enjoy it. And it's just that good. No, it does not smell like a Ventus. It doesn't. It definitely does the same job. It gives off the same vibe. It's their Aventus. I'm not going to say it's not Mancera's Aventus, but it wasn't made to smell like it. And it doesn't. Does it have some fruity similarities? Sure. A little bit of woods? Obviously. But it doesn't have that floral aspect. It doesn't have a heavy smokiness. It doesn't have an overly musky component to it. This one's got a little bit more sweetness, a lot more fruitiness going. It's a beautiful fragrance. Even though they don't perform maybe as beastly as they once did, I still religiously get 8 hours on my skin every time I wear it. It projects well enough. It's not absurd fill a room type of performance on projection, but I definitely have a strong trail and nice bubble around me, and you can smell me when I walk by. I've gotten many compliments from sprays out of this bottle. And if I got to pick one Mancera of what I own, it's definitely going to be this one every single time. It's just that good, and it's just that versatile. Every season, every occasion, don't matter. Quality, lovable scent profile, performs. It checks all the boxes. It's Mancera Cedrat Boissé. Dolce & Gabbana. So this one, like I said, it's getting harder and harder as we go through these houses. This pick may surprise some of you, and some of you it won't, because I've stated my love for this fragrance many times. It's kind of foundational for when I started to get a lot more serious with getting my hands on fragrances and expanding my palette and then my fragrance wardrobe. Obviously, I love the light blue line. It's my favorite line from them. I do have some from the Homme line. I do have several from the One line. But really, if I got to just keep one Dolce & Gabbana fragrance, it's absolutely going to be Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue. Of course, it finally wants to focus on the smallest bottle in the video. Go figure, it's a 40 ml. Yes, I wear Eau Intense more because it performs better. But the scent profile, the actual scent, the way it smells, is better, in my opinion, on the original. It's lighter. It's not as rich and overly salty. Same scent. It's the same scent profile. It's just not littered with amberwood and salt, which is what the Eau Intense is comparatively to my nose off of my skin. It's a bit much smelling directly off the skin, whereas this one, I can sniff this all day long, no problem. I've had a bigger bottle in the past. I actually had a gift set in the past. I love the way this smells. It's light, it's airy, it's fresh, it's a compliment machine. Doesn't perform that well, 5-hour fragrance, right in that average type of realm to slightly below average for me. But it's one that's cheap enough from discounters. It's beloved for me. It's one that I can't imagine not having. If I'm just going to pick one from the house, it had to be this. as much as I enjoy the flankers, because pretty much all the flankers perform better, but this one smells the best to me. I've had the most time with this one out of all of my other Dolce & Gabbana fragrances, not this bottle specifically, but this fragrance. And yeah, if I got to pick one Dolce & Gabbana fragrance, it's going to be the original light blue, because it just smells that good. For the most simplistic of things I can say to you, it just smells really good. Dolce & Gabbana, the original light blue. Next, this actually isn't the fragrance I recommend to you guys the most, but it is my favorite from the house. And then look, it's difficult. It's really a tie between this one and the other one I'm referring to, from Kajal Perfumes. Some of you know where I'm going with this. So this was my favorite pickup of 2020. I love the way this smells. This checks every single box, from the scent profile to the performance to the uniqueness to the situations. Everything about this fragrance is great. I really love this fragrance. Of course, I am talking about LAMAR. One of the newest releases. Let me see if I can get it to focus. That'll be a little bit of a challenge because it's so reflective. Oh well. Well, this beautiful gold bottle. There's some fruits up top, some pineapple, marigold, rose, a little bit of ambroxan and toffee in the dry down, and I mean just a little bit of ambroxan. It's elegant, but not too serious. Not really something to wear with a t-shirt, but I can't help myself sometimes. I don't really care what I'm wearing because I like the fragrance that much. It performs. It's my favorite fragrance that features pineapple up top, where it's noticeable pineapple up top. Again, nothing like Aventus. Not saying it smells anything like that. The only thing in common is there is some pineapple fragrance oil in here. That's it. Nothing even remotely close to the same scent profile. But it's beautiful. You get your money's worth with this, from the gorgeous presentation, which is a fingerprint magnet, just to let you guys know. But it was hard to pick between this and Kajal Homme. Kajal Homme being the other fragrance I was referencing, because it's got such a high level of versatility. It's so much fresher than this, even considering it's a tonka bean base with some oud in it. It's fresher than this citrus fruit floral fragrance, believe it or not. Performs great, works well in the heat. Orange blossom dominant up top, which I do dig in a fragrance, especially quality orange blossom. So it was a toss-up between the two. But this isn't about recommending where you should start with Kajal Perfumes, because if I was recommending, I would tell you guys Kajal Homme's the best spot to start. But as far as my favorite, just if I got to pick one for me to keep in my collection, it's going to be LAMAR. It's just that good to me. I strongly urge you to try this one. If you like fruity floral fragrances, you will like this. Look at, just can't you tell that's a fingerprint magnet? But Kajal, LAMAR. Hugo Boss. Now it's getting real difficult, because there's a lot. That's me twisting the cap. There's a lot of lines I like. I like the Boss Bottled line, obviously. I have a lot of those. Have another one on the way, actually, Boss Bottled Unlimited. I love the scent line. I have almost all of them. I have another one of those on the way as well. Hugo Iced, Hugo Just Different, Hugo Man Extreme, Boss Orange. I mean, I got variety from the house, and there's still plenty to go. But if I got to just pick one, man, it's got to be the original. It's got to be Boss number 6. This is my big 200 milliliter bottle. I recently featured my little 1 ounce bottle in my 10 classic men's fragrances and are they still good in 2021 video, which if you haven't seen that, put that right there for you guys. But it's still good. Look, I debated on the Intenso de Parfum right here. I did, but I had to really step outside myself and really think, if I'm only keeping one Hugo Boss fragrance in this collection. I'm not saying this video isn't about 10 for life. It's if I can only keep one from each of these 10 houses, which are 10 of my favorite brands. Obviously, not getting rid of all the other brands. This is just these 10 specifically. I gotta keep the original Boss bottle. It's just so good. It's nostalgic, it's versatile, It works in hotter weather better than the Intense Eau de Parfum. And look, I like Infinite. I like the new Eau de Parfum a lot. That was a strong contender. Tonic's great, just doesn't perform that well. Um, Boss Bottled Night, underrated, dark, soapy fragrance. It's super versatile. You can wear that for anything. You know, there's just the scent. It was hard to not pick Private Accord. It's one of my favorite coffee fragrances. You know, it's just, I could go on and on. They put out some really good designer fragrances, and for the most part, they get very affordable from discounters, and none more so than Boss Number 6. But it's just, I mean, even if I get 4 hours out of it, I don't care. I'll just refresh. You know, it just smells that good to me. Not a massive compliment getter. It has gotten me a few compliments over the years, but it's one that I just enjoy wearing. I love smelling. It's that apple pie, you know, the apple pie, the cinnamon, the sharp woody edge, all those things I've said about it before. It's all of those things, and it's just that good. I mean, hell, why would I buy a 200 milliliter bottle if I didn't like it that much? So if I'm keeping one from Hugo Boss, it's the original. It's Boss Number 6, Boss Bottled. Giorgio Armani. Okay, so technically Emporio Armani doesn't fall into this, the Stronger With You line, diamonds, stuff like that. But the Armani Code line, the Armani line, the Acqua di Gio line, there's a lot of stuff like that falls into this if we're talking Giorgio Armani as a brand and a house. Ones that are labeled Giorgio Armani on the bottle. So this one, even more difficult than the Hugo Boss selection. This one may surprise you. Man, it was tough. It was really, really tough because part of me can't imagine not keeping Code Colonia. Part of me can't imagine not having Acqua di Gio Profumo. So there you go. That's eliminated because that was the hardest part, was wrapping my head around how do I not pick Profumo right here? It was so difficult, but I had to be real with myself here with these picks, and Acqua di Gio ABSOLU. You know, it's the one I wear the most. I dig the scent profile. God, it's so good. It's got that fruity, aquatic Invictus aqua-ish type of opening. Not exact. I know people compare it to it, but as it dries, I get a whole lot of amberwood type of smell with a lot of patchouli. It's a monster on my skin. Super long lasting, super loud. I've gotten a bunch of compliments from this. I have a big 200 ml backup bottle, so I've got pretty much a lifetime supply of this stuff with this 75 ml tester. Look, this one was tough. It was tough not to pick Profumo. Really, it was really, really tough. But like I said, I just wear this one more because in the grand scheme of things, the more I think about it, I like it more. That's why I wear it more. It is what it is, you know. Not everybody will agree with it, but it just comes down to this video is about me picking my favorite from these 10 houses, and from Giorgio Armani, I couldn't not pick Acqua di Gio ABSOLU, believe it or not. The House of Bulgari. Bulgari, however you want to say it. I believe it's Bulgari. That's why I always say it that way. I have a bunch from the Man line. Man Extreme, Man Black Cologne, Man in Black, Man Black Orient. I have Bulgari Blue. I have the majority of the Aqua line with the original in the mail on its way to me. I have several really good ones from Bulgari. I really do. But this one, tough, but not the end of the world tough. The thing that makes it difficult is there's so many good options to choose from, but I had to go with Aqua Atlantique. You know, it's just that good to me. I hate how this camera doesn't focus as well. There we go. Aqua pour Homme Atlantique. You know, it's basically a more aquatic version of Dylan Blue is how you can look at it. Man, but it's so much better than Dylan Blue in my opinion. And look, I like Versace Dylan Blue, but this stuff it's great. It's a beast. Oh, it's so loud. Room filling if you spray it heavy. 3 to 5 sprays, plenty. 7 plus, you can fill a room. I mean, I tend to wear 5 to 7 when I wear it. I don't think I've ever wore below 5 sprays, and that's trying to be modest with 5 sprays, and it still fills a room this size. It'll fill easily. It's a compliment machine. It is a factory for compliments. It's one of the best performing, best smelling fragrances you can wear in the heat, in my opinion. Strong enough to be a signature scent year round if you just like aquatic fragrances that much. It's very salty marine. Like I said, it's Dylan Blue if Dylan Blue was a beach scent, and it performs way better. This stuff's incredible. The whole line's good. In my opinion, this is just the best one, and it's one that I couldn't imagine not picking when I took a look at my BVLGARI fragrances. Again, that's AQUA pour Homme Atlantique PACO RABANNE. Yeah, so I've got most of the 1 millions. I've got most of the Invictuses. I don't really have anything else from PACO RABANNE, believe it or not. It's really those two lines, those two popular, youthful, bubblegummy, sweet lines. And some of you probably know the answer to this one because it's ultimately my favorite fragrance overall. It is Invictus AQUA. Those of you that don't know, this is a tester bottle. That's why it says the name of the fragrance on the front. This is my favorite fragrance. For all the lovely, expensive, luxury niche fragrances I have, all the beloved cheapies I have, and everything in between that, this is my favorite fragrance. I was going to have to pick this one if I'm going through the house of PACO RABANNE. It's just great. It's fresh. It's aquatic. It's a little powdery and floral. It's got a little bit of an ambroxan edge from that salty ambergris that's in here. But I've never gotten more compliments from a fragrance than this. My most complimented fragrance, the fragrance that makes me smile the most when I smell it. It puts me in it uplifts my mood. It puts me in a better mood. This fragrance has more aromatherapy, positive aromatherapy effects on me when I wear it than any other fragrance. It's just that good to me. Might be a little too synthetic for some that like higher quality fragrances. This could cause headaches for some that don't like, salty ambergris and ambroxan synthetics. It is what it is, but ultimately it's my favorite fragrance overall, and it's definitely the one I would pick from the house of PACO RABANNE. Even if I had every release PACO RABANNE's ever put out for men, I would still pick this. I just love it that much. It's Invictus AQUA. Now, believe it or not, even though this is the fragrance most synonymous with this channel, TLTG Reviews, this one's tough because it was hard to leave out some other fragrances. Uomo Signature, the original Ferragamo. Obviously, I'm talking about Salvatore Ferragamo because this is probably my favorite designer house. To be real with you, I love everything they put out, damn near. But, I mean, obviously the choice is going to be AQUA ESSENZIALE Blue. Like I said, the fragrance most synonymous with this channel. One that I wear on a regular basis. I'll probably wear it again here in the next several days. I've been kind of itching for it. It's great. Now look, I get it. I already have a fragrance on here that's, like I said, if Dylan Blue was built for the beach, it would be that. I'm talking about AQUA Atlantique. Yes, this has a lot of similarities to Dylan Blue, but it smells like Dylan Blue mixed with a little bit of Bleu de Chanel in there, which kind of makes it do its own thing. It's a little powdery in the dry down. The lavender in this one gets a bit powdery. Very aromatic, has that touch of citrus up top. The cypriol oil kind of gives it that different edge of character that kind of makes it its own thing that I was referring to. And it performs very well on my skin. They're not overly expensive. Prices have gone up a little bit in the last year or so, but it's still a bona fide cheapie because I consider 40 bucks and below cheapies, and it's still in the 30 some odd dollar range. They have them available from Amazon for 30 some odd dollars. I've been keeping that link in the descriptions of all my videos as of late. I know several of you have ordered a bottle through that, so that's the only place I've seen that's really available for a decent price right now. Fragrance Net, as you saw by my last video shopping for Fragrance Net, they were sold out. But if you're looking for an all-around great fragrance that's going to do pretty much everything you need it to do, work in every season, nothing's too hot, nothing's too cold to where it would veer me away from it. And as far as dressing up, dressing down, another one, versatility, gets a very high mark from me. It'll work in all those situations. It's definitely the one I would have to keep from the house of Salvatore Ferragamo. That is Acqua Essenziale Blue from Salvatore Ferragamo. Well, guys, that was my 10 picks. And until next time, do me a real quick favor. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, because I do appreciate all the feedback and I love hearing from you guys. If you had to pick from a few of these houses, what would be the fragrances you would pick? Let me know down in the comments. I'm curious to read some of your answers. Thank you to the few gentlemen that asked me to do this video topic. The more I thought about it, the more intriguing it got, and obviously I ended up doing the video. So here we are. A lot of cool stuff in the works, a lot of cool stuff coming. Stay on the lookout this weekend for the next episode of the video podcast discussions. My next guest is going to be Steve, Fragrance Fanatic. Not saying what the topic is yet because I haven't told him yet. We talk about that once we get rolling with the podcast. Already got the next several guests lined up. So I got some cool stuff in the works for the channel. And until next time, I will say, if you get your hands on any of the 10 fragrances featured in this video and you give them a spray now, you might end up thanking me later. Have a good one, guys.